I see your fantasy. You want to make it a reality change. Finally late. Call in, like, and sub. I see your fantasy. You want to make it a reality change inside some of our heads now. Motive side. But I forgot the words. Nice, brother. Hey there, brother. Pop off only on occasion, brother. You know what I mean, brother? I ain't taking no prisoners. Who went platinum? I called it a visitor. It means it's the vaccine. The game needs Ow, my neck is killing me. Imagine liking Trap of being a lib. I don't like Trap. I know one song, Trapped. Because I grew up around all these divorced fathers, you know? Divorced single dad syndrome is heavy with new metal music, if you're familiar. Hello, welcome to Supporter Tier. Thank you, Fudge. Thank you so much. Yeah, like the stream. Thank you. Should I do Charlie Kirk today? I think I need to. I think Charlie Kirk is an everyday thing. I don't...
The 2024...
Charlie Kirk, the most disgusting propagandist of all time. The media explodes after Trump gets a new plane. It's simply a new plane, guys. It's nothing serious. It's nothing serious.
election showed us that Americans are ready for a return.
Serious,
That's why
bro.
I'm citizens. And a paid fan on behalf of magazine insurance just Kirk.
It's nothing serious.
He is losing their
I
mind
promise.
right now because they say President Trump is going to Qatar and he's going to receive a plane. Listen, let's just play the piece of tape here.
By the way, Donald Trump today received $300 million through his cryptic, big money, dark money crypto scam. All right. $300 million from the Chinese owners of TikTok. Okay. If you wonder why Trump is not enforcing the TikTok ban, today, Donald Trump got $300 million paid to him directly by using the power of the White House. Okay. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, all these different countries. Why do you think Trump is praising Hamas and the Houthis? Okay, because they're paying Trump off. They're paying Trump off openly. All of Americans' adversaries are paying Trump off.
Let's first go to
Americans, yes.
240.
I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture.
Now, notice he says we.
Bro, I would be so dumb not to take a Trojan horse. Wow, this is such a fancy gift they want to give me. Such a fancy gift they want to give us, dude. They want to give us a huge, amazing horse, a Trojan horse. So powerful, so cool, a Trojan horse. I would be so dumb to not accept from Qatar, a country that makes money, blood money, from killing Americans, killing American soldiers. Okay, working with leaders that have killed American journalists intentionally, obviously. Countries that put bounties on American heads. Okay, why would I not accept this beautiful Trojan horse? You know, guys, the Trojan horse and all these different stories and you know, they all have meanings. All right, and the idea where Trump's like, it's just a free plane. I don't have any other questions about it. Imagine being so gullible. Not only Trump being so gullible, but just in general, his supporters as well. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, China, all these different countries, state sponsors of terrorism that are just giving Trump money, and everyone knows the White House is for sale. And oh god, dude, I don't want to talk too much when I do YouTube videos, but still, today like Sam Altman and like 50 other billionaire CEOs went with Trump to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is getting a deal with Donald Trump to bolster their economy. We're going to give them like $150 billion worth in weapons. We're going to give them like all these different tech CEOs are using the White House, using Trump, using this entire using America to profit for themselves. And it's so sad that so many Americans are completely in the Donald Trump cult.
meaning the federal government. Now, look, I'm only okay with this if this is used to help deport a bunch of illegal aliens. The last luxury flight that they get, they could load up on the Qatari Express and...
Classic Charlie Kirk move. I bring this up all the time. Charlie Kirk never talks about anything useful. He does not want people to be able to think. His suit fits terribly. But he wants to bring things back to social issues because social issues make his followers emotional. And Trumpers get emotional really easily. So you could be really corrupt, but if you hit their emotions right, they'll let you do it.
They could be sent to Nicaragua and Honduras, have that thing humming. I mean, look, a picture of this thing. This thing is a beast. No, I don't even think that's it. That's just Qatar Airways, which, by the way, I'm told is very good. It's things like the Palace in the Sky. That's Air Force One. The Palace in the Sky should be also reused as a nonstop diplomatic charter.
Oh, Donald Trump just removed sanctions from Syria after Syria approved a plan for a Trump Tower there. Okay, literally the day after. Also, with Qatar approved a sale to the Trump family for like a $5 billion Trump resort. And right after, you see the difference in the Trump administration's policies. So if Trump gets money, quid pro quos, whatever it might be, again, such blatant corruption. And Charlie Kirk's going to laugh his way through it because he knows his audience. Charlie Kirk knows his audience is too brain dead, too numbnuts, too indoctrinated into the cult. They lack independent thought to the extent that they will not be able to think for themselves here. Hopefully they can. Hopefully. Maybe it'll turn something on in their brains.
Say, hey, we want to go bring in, I think that's it. That's the Palace in the Sky. We want to bring in the South Africans, the Afrikaners. Welcome to the Palace in the Sky.
Do you see how Charlie Kirk needs to meme? He needs to meme this entire segment, okay? This entire segment. Because Trump is saying it's okay if you kill our troops. It's okay if you want to destroy democracy worldwide. It's okay if you want to fund terrorist organizations. It's okay as long as you pay Trump. You can do anything. You could abuse America as much as you want. You can... Oh, man, it's awesome. The nice Trojan horse. Why would we not? Why would we not accept this beautiful Trojan horse? I feel like there was a story behind this. I don't know what it was.
Load on up. We'll be running that thing 24/7. Johannesburg to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Cape Town to Phoenix. Now, it isn't objectively a very nice plane. And look, I know people are getting very upset about this and all that, but understand, it'll be an asset of the federal government. It could be used for all sorts of things. And how cool would this be also to bring hostages home? Instead of sending, kind of one of their other military aircraft, you go bring home a bunch of hostages from Venezuela or from Russia or from Iran. You can load them up on this palatial plane and bring them back to America. The Middle East trip is very high stakes. And
the Middle East trip, by the way, Trump is just collecting payments. He's collecting payments from all the deals he's making, from the Saudis, from Qatar. He's going to all these nations, not because they make sense for American foreign policy strategy, but because they make sense for Donald Trump's corrupt business activities. He's literally doing a tour with all these CEOs, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, all his CEO donors. He's doing a tour with them, including Charlie Kirk, Mr. Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump is overseas right now in the Middle East. He brought the BlackRock CEO to wine and dine with Saudi Arabian princes. All right? Charlie Kirk talks about BlackRock being so evil, so corrupt all the time. Charlie Kirk does not shut up about BlackRock. Meanwhile, Trump is giving BlackRock CEO the biggest, most advantageous gains to buy up more housing. Such hypocrites, such liars. It's crazy.
And also understand there's some complexity to this. Rejecting gifts in the Middle East can also be very dishonoring in their culture. So as long as it's done correctly and ethically, and the left, they're losing their mind. Of course they are. I would say, though, that
a lot of the right is losing their mind, by the way. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, it's just like... There's only there's only a certain level to where you could bend basic reality before more people crack off. But again, like I said yesterday, Charlie Kirk needs to lie for a job. He will defend anything the administration does, anytime, anywhere. He is a fake human being, as close to a demon as you can get on Earth.
What President Trump is aiming to get done here in the Middle East is transformational. His speech in Saudi Arabia, and we're going to cut that up and we're going to do a whole show on it tomorrow. It was a 10. And I got to love it. I'm here in Phoenix all week. And being able just to watch every day what he's going to be accomplishing is truly transformational.
Okay, tell us what
We
he's going to
want
accomplish.
the
Tell him
Middle
what-
East actors of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, the oil titans, to look to the west and not to the east. And by the way, they have trillions of dollars. The Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, I think, is well over $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion. The Qatari...
So yeah, it's to the highest bidder, and it's really funny too. Acting like they're gonna move to the west, and that's a worthy endeavor to use all of America's soft power on these countries, but it makes 0 sense to use our soft power to support Ukraine to move to the west. Think about that. Just think about those incentives. And even Tulsi Gabbard called Trump out his first term. Tulsi Gabbard called out Trump for being bought off by Saudi Arabia. Everyone knows it. But again, like Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, they made these criticisms in the past. But they don't make criticisms anymore once they know once they themselves can profit from it, then they stop criticizing. But just remember, whoever talks about this and gives it a pass, they are partisan hacks. Unless if they're completely lost, they probably should not be respected very much for their opinions because they are willing to lie for their political side. Beautiful. I could go into that real quick. That's good enough for me. Nice, we love that, bro. Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Why you lying? Jesus loves y'all. Come to him. No one cares about your opinion. Thank you, sweetheart. If you want to call in, feel free to use the phone number on the screen if you want to call in, by the way. This channel is biased.
And asked to advocate to the best of our...
Legal Eagle is a really good channel for if you want a legal take on what's happening right now. It's not explicitly political, but it's political now because everything's political. And if you care about defending the law, you need to take a stand against this administration. But this video, I watched the first minute. I think it's a good description of like what partisanship is, like what is politics, what should be political, and what should not be political.
This channel is biased. It's true. Legal Eagle is completely biased. But maybe not in the way that you think. Legal Eagle isn't about Republicans or Democrats, liberals or conservatives. With few exceptions, Legal Eagle espouses no policy preferences. As a channel, we are agnostic about high taxes or low taxes, huge welfare state or no social safety net, open borders or zero immigration. First and foremost, we're lawyers. We care about good lawyering versus bad lawyering. And we're often asked to advocate to the best of our abilities, specifically about issues that we might disagree with. And our status as lawyers doesn't necessarily mandate that we feel any particular way about any of those policies. Reasonable minds can, and do, differ. When it comes to policy...
That's one thing Trump brought back into the mainstream is there's different concepts we are forced to talk about on a daily basis that no reasonable mind should be able to rationalize. So like Donald Trump taking money from Chinese billionaires through his cryptocurrency, Trump using the White House as a prop for his cryptic corruption scheme with his crypto coin, where he's getting money funneled to him directly from foreign governments, using our tax dollars and the American government and all of America as a prop for his personal enrichment. Trump taking huge gifts from Qatar and Saudi Arabia, and UAE and all these other different countries. You know, these are things, pardoning the January 6th cop beaters, those violent terrorists from that day that Trump unleashed back into our communities. These are things that should not be political, all right? The political stuff is like, oh, do you want high taxes, low taxes? Do you like this policy for society, that policy? Like, what kind of policies do you want? The discussions we're having right now, where Trump is calling due process and the Fifth Amendment right we have, he's calling that a privilege. That is a really scary place to be in because we can't talk about real issues at all. And when you talk about fake issues, chaotic things happen if everything in the world becomes untethered to reality or untethered to the Constitution and basic rule of law.
Policy preferences, we lawyers can't tell you the answer. I mean, we can. Individually, we have very strong feelings about all of those things, but we don't think that this channel is the right place or the right avenue to espouse our opinions on those topics. But, and this is key, Legal Eagle doesn't pick sides based on party affiliation. We pick sides based on legal principles and reality. And yes, that means sometimes one side looks worse than the other, not because of partisan bias, but because we think some people are just wrong based on the law. But we
also, yeah, lawyers like this, by the way, on college campuses, when there are different legal battles over freedom of speech, when talking about the First Amendment, many liberal lawyers have defended conservative students on campuses over freedom of speech. There's organizations right now going the hardest against Donald Trump that also went hard against other administrations or just like other political leanings because they defend the law. So if you look at different conservatives and different cases on campuses, guys like this are there to defend conservatives as well once the Constitution is being violated by the left.
We admit it. We are biased. The way we think about it is this. We are nonpartisan, but we're not apolitical. The law is the end result of politics, and it's impossible to talk about the law without talking politics. So we think it's important, especially now, to lay it all on the line. What do we stand for? Well, we stand for the rule of law. At the core of everything that we do here is the rule of law. That means that the law applies to everyone equally, whether you're the average Joe or the President of the United States. The law doesn't, or at least shouldn't, care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or the last surviving Whig Party member. When someone breaks the law or tries to twist it into an unrecognizable mess, we'll call it.
Someone said there is proof Biden's DOJ colluded to suppress freedom of speech. The issue with people like you in chat is you trusted someone else telling you that. You don't have actual proof of that from actual verified sources. Even from Republicans in Congress, you guys make claims that Trump cannot find, that Congress people cannot find. You make claims about Democrats and about like Trump, Biden's DOJ and Merrick Garland, who was super apolitical or nonpartisan in his actions. You make claims you cannot back up or substantiate. And I talked to you guys. You probably think the election was stolen. And even though whenever Trump is forced to bring facts to a courtroom, because you go to court, you need facts there. That's why Trump avoids courtrooms and due process, because they have no facts on their side. They sound great on podcasts, which is what you base your knowledge off of. But where real facts come out, you have nothing to stand on.
Call it out. If a politician or government official gets caught abusing power, evading legal consequences, or outright ignoring the law, we're going to cover it. And if that offends your partisan sensibilities, well, that's a you problem. We stand for access to justice and judicial independence. We believe in access to justice, the idea that the law shouldn't only work for the rich and powerful. If a system is stacked against everyday people, or if the courts are being manipulated for political purposes, that's a huge problem. We think judges should be neutral arbiters of the law, not political operatives handpicked to rubber stamp an agenda. And if a judge starts acting like a political hack, we're going to talk about that too. We stand for legal education and ethics. This channel at its core is about legal education, helping people understand their rights, how the legal system works, and why bad legal arguments deserve to be obliterated.
Yeah, and you saw photoshopped emails with no verification, with no substantiation, you believe them. You would believe anything. I could convince you of anything if I have the right framing and the right propaganda network. You are literally a sheep.
That means debunking misinformation, breaking down landmark cases, and of course, absolutely roasting terrible legal takes. We also stand firmly for human rights and civil liberties.
How do I feel about preemptive pardons? I think they're bad. I think preemptive pardons are bad, but I think Trump using his DOJ as his personal lawyers, which they have said, and no other president has had their DOJ and FBI say they're Trump's personal lawyers. That's worse than preemptive pardons. And we do not get preemptive pardons if Trump does not give the FBI head to Kash Patel, who has an enemies list coming in. And when they say they're going to go after people for political reasons, of course, Biden's going to have a response like that. So yeah, I think preemptive pardons are bad, but also Trump's actions are much, much worse. And I think in that context, it's understandable for why you would want to give them out to people if you have the ability to do so. When the administration admits we have nothing to stand on legally, but we're going to go after you. That's what Trump literally said. They're going to find cases. They don't have cases. They don't have crimes. They're going to find crimes to get people in court.
That includes issues like due process, free speech, and personal freedoms. We believe in freedom of speech in the First Amendment sense. The First Amendment only protects you from government suppression of speech, not from consequences, criticism, or getting dunked on for a really dumb take. But we also really, really believe the government has no business regulating or punishing speech or belief. And what we stand for also dictates what we stand against. We stand against political corruption and abuse.
Yeah, Patel didn't just say it. He wrote and published the enemies list. Then Patel lied like 50 times in his hearings under oath. Many of them lied. This is the first president that had his nominees for his cabinet. All of them refused to say they would follow the Constitution. They refused to say they would follow the Constitution. They just said they would follow leader Trump, Chairman Trump. Trump could never do something unconstitutional. He's our leader.
Abuse of power. This should be obvious, but corruption is bad. When politicians use their positions for personal gain, break the law with impunity, or turn government institutions into their personal enforcers, that's a problem. Whether it's Bob Menendez or Donald Trump, we're going to call it out regardless. Now, we can have a philosophical debate.
What would Edward Snowden say? I don't know. I don't speak Russian.
About what qualifies as the law. Spoiler, it's not just the words that are codified into statutes or cases, but it includes norms and mores, and when those are validated, we'll call that out too. As members of the legal system, we absolutely despise weaponizing that system, whether it's through frivolous lawsuits, politically motivated prosecutions, or bad faith legal arguments designed to obstruct justice. When people try to use the courts as a bludgeon rather than a shield, we think that's an abuse of the legal process, and we stand against it. We stand against lying, ignorance, stupidity, and cringe. Look,
Builder boy Biden didn't follow the Constitution. Okay, you don't have any proof of that. The proof you're going to bring up is going to be fake. Trump is denying Supreme Court orders and not following them, so that's fun. Jolah is a communist, which is also a socialist. I'm not either of those things, and they are also not the same thing. But words are not going to be very nice to you because the words you use are usually like Trump good, Kamala bad, bad, ism, fascism, socialism, liberalism, LGBTism. Like you just use really weird words. So I don't expect you to understand the big long ones.
we love a good legal argument, but what we don't love is lying, ignorance, and stupidity. And there's a big difference between arguing in good faith and just spewing nonsense. We enjoy a hearty debate, but if you're going to debate or argue, do it on the merits. We also think we need to bring back a little shame and a little self-respect. But unfortunately, standing up for the rule of law is not evenly distributed. We believe that all of these things are nonpartisan, and if they are partisan, then your party sucks. But to say that both sides do it is as true as it is irrelevant. These ideals are not, at the moment, equally shared.
Am I pro-gun? I'm pro-gun rights. I think the idea that if everyone had a gun, we'd have a safer society, it's completely debunked. In states that have more gun ownership, more people die at a younger age and there's more violence. They say, oh, everyone being armed keeps you polite. Well, in Alaska or any other state that goes by that and does not rely on law enforcement, the crime rate's extremely high. And normal disputes are solved by a lot more violence. But yeah, I'm pro gun rights.
So let's address the elephant in the room. People love to accuse this channel of being biased or anti-Republican because we've been highly critical of Donald Trump. So let me be as clear as possible. We don't dislike Donald Trump because he's a Republican. We hate President Donald Trump because he is actively dismantling the rule of law. And to the extent the MAGA movement, such as it is against the ideals that we've just described, we are against that movement as well. At the moment, there's a reckoning among commentators who now see the authoritarian and outright fascist.
Well, even Trump's own Supreme Court agrees. Trump's own Supreme Court agrees he's violating the law, and rule of law is in danger in America. I think Chief Justice Roberts just said that. And Trump's own nominees are voting against him when it comes to due process cases with habeas corpus and Alien Enemies Act.
Tendencies of the current president. They meekly defend themselves by...
By the way, you can call in. If you're watching this on YouTube, please drop a like and subscribe. But you can call in. We can talk about something if you want to call in. Talk about this topic or talk about another topic. Talk about something. Call in. Thank you for watching. Drop a like, subscribe.
Rhetorically wondering, who could have seen it coming? Well, we did. We saw it coming. We saw it in his first term, we saw it before he ran for president, and we definitely saw it in the 4 years after he was voted out of office. Unfortunately, we lawyers were Cassandras. If you know what the law is, it's not hard to see when people aren't following it. And unfortunately right now, many people are gleefully casting law aside because it's politically expedient. But that is the ultimate in short-term thinking. The signs were...
I have a question. If we don't have guns, how do we fight a tyrannical government? Well, the reason guns don't prevent that is because some people will agree with that tyrannical government. The best way to maintain a tyrannical or to maintain freedom is to make sure you have an intelligent citizenry. Education is by far the biggest thing that defends civilizations from collapsing. And this is evidenced by, look at the Cambodian genocide, look at Mao, look at Stalin, look at Mussolini. The reason they kill religious leaders and scientists and lawyers and the educated, like some of these genocides, they killed people that have glasses because glasses showed a sign of intelligence to them. The dictators always kill anyone that understands law first so that the people who are left over are yes men or they don't have enough literacy to understand what the laws are to come together as a system. Having enough knowledge to do striking, for example, and to do general strikes for the economy, to shut down the economy, is much more effective than a bunch of random guys using guns to defend themselves. And also, relying on a bunch of random people with their firearms to fight against tyranny, you realize that those guns are going to be turned on their neighbors. No, society does not degrade if we don't have an actual well-regulated system, all right? Think about, imagine you're in a grocery store and there's a shooting that's happening, all right? You hear a shot fire, you're armed, and you're going to be the good guy with a gun, all right? And little do you know, there's 10 other good guys with a gun in that store, all right? And you all are looking for who did the shooting. There's a good chance in that situation, a good guy with a gun might fire at a good guy with a gun, right? So if society completely collapsed, we would already be screwed at that point. If we get to the point where society collapses, guns, I think you should be able to have them as a matter of rights in America, but it's not going to stop tyranny, all right? If you want to talk about personal safety, personal defense, the right to defend yourself, that makes sense. But talking about tyranny, bro, once they have the chopper gunner above you, once they have the drones that have machine guns on them, like, what do you think you're going to do against the robot cops, the robocops? Like, look at the Chinese robocops, look at the New York City robocops, look up the drones that have flamethrowers and like 25 different guns on them. You being armed is not going to stop tyranny. We need to focus on other things that keep our system in order, which involves law enforcement, military, and involves us being community and us working together for a better country. Because the moment we don't trust anyone, that's when society falls apart. It's not going to be guns that's going to determine if we're free or not.
We're there in broad daylight. Need I remind you that Donald Trump is a felon? Just because he wasn't punished doesn't mean he isn't a criminal.
I understand, though. People want to say guns are going to save the day because they want to feel like they have the power. So if you have your own gun, you can be safe. You can fight tyranny. It's in your hands. You don't want to rely on your community. You don't want to rely on each other, your neighbors, or anything like that, or any broad system. You want to know you can rely on yourself and your neighbors to help defend against tyranny. I know it feels good. It's emotionally happy. It makes you emotionally happy. But I'm saying that freedom, true freedom, like the Fifth Amendment, for example, the Fifth and First Amendment are much more important than the Second Amendment in maintaining freedom. Definitely Fifth Amendment, definitely Fourth Amendment, searches and seizures, due process. Those things are much more important than the Second Amendment and protecting freedom.
He's an adjudicated criminal and felon for financial crimes, but...
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you cannot defend yourself with a firearm. Defend yourself. But when it comes to tyranny happens through society voting a certain way or society's influence going a certain way. And most of the people that are armed will probably side with with whatever the dictatorship is. That's what happened in Nazi Germany or in fascist Italy. In many of these states, they're military rule. So the military takes over and they end up deputizing people that have guns that are not in the military or law enforcement. So it's more complicated than it might come off.
Had the Supreme Court not interfered, he would...
You don't have a country without guns. It's just a dumb statement. You don't have a country without due process. More so.
Almost certainly be a felon for state crimes, pressuring state officials to find votes.
Yeah, all the amendments are important. My thing is, I'm saying all of them are important, okay? But, like, when people say, oh, the Second Amendment is the thing that protects us from tyranny, it's just a really dumb statement.
Election crimes...
It makes you... Okay, again, it's emotionally good. It makes you emotionally happy. But you have Rambo fantasies in your head. You think you're G.I. Joe or something, or you're going to go on you're going to be able to just, like, do some Matrix type shit to save the world. But that's not going to happen, bro. We got to do this together. It's not going to be because any one person or group of people has firearms but by themselves.
Trying to overturn a free and fair election through, among other things, the fake elector scheme, obstruction crimes, obstruction of justice and lying, and national security crimes, stealing classified documents, hiding them, and lying about it. But on top of that, he was found civilly liable for defamation related to his sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll, defrauding the state of New York. And
someone said the Middle East fought against us and did... Okay, what is in the Middle East? They are heavily armed there. Are there democracies in the Middle East? Is there freedom in the Middle East? Just because they can fight well against an invading country like America, comparative to like where they are militarily and their economic conditions, like the Houthis right now, for example, just because they do well in that environment, you realize these countries have zero freedom, right? You're using countries as your example that have zero freaking freedom in the Middle East as why we need firearms, for why we need firearms in the U.S. You're using literal like countries that are monarchies and literal tyranny.
Running fraudulent charities. And that doesn't even get into his bankruptcies or other settlements. Donald Trump has been indicted 4 separate times on 91 felony charges. That's a record, and not the good kind. And on top of that, he was impeached twice. Once for withholding hundreds of millions of dollars of U.S. aid to Ukraine in an attempt to solicit a bribe in the form of fabricating dirt on his political rival, Joe Biden, and once for inciting the insurrection that led to the riot that infiltrated the U.S. Capitol and sought to prevent the certification.
Yeah, guerrilla tactics are, there's definitely a big benefit. But again, like random people having firearms is not going to be guerrilla tactics. I promise. Like it's not the same thing. It's a completely different environment.
In the Democratic election. Now we can debate whether those things are crimes, but there is no doubt.
Hey, I don't know what to say. I mean, Americans are not. We've never had to fight a war on our soil. Okay, a modern war on our soil. We have these fantasies in our heads. All right. Maybe that's why Europe knows why it's important to defend Ukraine and we don't, because we're pampered as a nation. But I'm saying things that are basic knowledge in any operation like this. You know, in any country that falls to a dictatorship, I'm saying things that are historically proven to be true You are saying things that's in your like Rambo fantasy in your head because it makes you emotionally happy again. And I want you to have that. I want you to believe Santa Claus. I want you to believe in Santa Claus, you know?
Doubt that they are or should be politically disqualifying. And now, in his second term, Trump has sought to avoid the constitutional order entirely to, among other things, illegally impound billions of dollars of congressional funds, illegally weaponize the justice system, illegally pull criminal prosecutions as
It is a Rambo fantasy. The fact you think you being armed alone is going to stop tyranny is insane. Especially when Americans are fighting each other. Like, I guarantee you, you don't understand how many firearm owners are going to join the tyranny. They're going to join the tyranny. This happens in every dictatorship, I promise you. The most armed militia groups, the militias like the Proud Boys and stuff, they join the dictators every time.
his political favors, illegally shut down federal agencies, illegally deport people with zero due process, illegally punish First Amendment protected speech and
If a foreign military cut off all communications in America and armed citizenry help, okay, if we are at the point where we are thrust into a position where we need to survive on a guerrilla basis, okay, if America collapsed to that position, I do not want to be alive. All right. If we are at the point where we need to scavenge through the streets and live in a Walking Dead reality. All right. I do not know. Like, the world would have to go so bad at that point, dude. And again, it's not going to prevent tyranny. It'll make you feel safer by yourself, but regardless.
assembly, illegally punish lawyers and law firms he doesn't like, illegally remove security clearances as political punishment, illegally arrest judges he doesn't like, illegally dole out political benefits to his friends and family members, illegally...
Okay. You guys think it was tyranny to be inside for a month and not go to McDonald's for a month during COVID. You guys are not doing shit if we get invaded by another country. Let's be fair. COVID-19 and the 1 month you could not go to McDonald's is the most traumatic moment in your lives. You bring it up constantly. You are not doing shit if we get invaded. I promise you. You're gonna die once the smartphones stop working, bro.
solicit bribes through operating his businesses and crypto schemes. Second term, same as the first. But rest assured, if tomorrow a Democratic president came along and did half the things that Trump has done, we would roast them just as hard. This is not about party. It's about whether the law still means anything. This isn't just bad politics, it's banana republic tin pot dictator nonsense. If any other president had done any single...
I can't wait till the Second Amendment protects us from cyber warfare and our power circuit gets cut off and we have global wars and precision missile strikes. That's gonna be
one of these things, they would be a legal
dude.
footnote next to Richard Nixon. And when a Democrat or a libertarian or a communist or a Green Party member engages in manifest illegality or norm breaking, we cover that too, as we did with Eric Adams, Bob Menendez, and when Joe Biden pardoned his son. We don't criticize President Trump because we hate Republicans. We criticize Trump because he is actively trying to dismantle democracy, corrupt the legal system, and place himself above the law. That is a problem no matter what your party is. And look, if you think that this is bias, then let me make a deal with you. The moment a Democrat tries to overturn an election, hoard classified documents...
Bro, you guys see a gay person in public and you start crying because you realize that you're also gay because you're getting turned on. You're not going to handle an invasion. Trust me.
solicit bribes or pressure
You
the
can't handle a
DOJ to
Twitter
arrest
comment
political
section.
enemies will make an entire...
You guys want to overthrow American democracy because you're offended by women. You're offended by women not liking you and women being liberal. All right? You're offended by that. You're not going to defend us against an invasion. Trust me.
video roasting them too. Because this isn't about partisanship, it's about the rule.
All it takes to get you mad about something is to show you a SJW compilation where a woman has blue hair. But you're not going to say anything about Trump taking millions of dollars from governments that pay to kill American troops and have blood money from killing American troops. And he takes that blood money and says it's okay and removes sanctions on those countries. You're not going to call him out because you are just so mad at the blue-haired feminist that you have zero principle at all. You're not going to defend us from an invasion. I promise.
Rule of law. As I've said before, I hear the comments from those of you who wish the channel didn't focus so much on Trump. I hear you, and I agree with you. I wish I didn't have to think about him at all, let alone continually research and analyze completely unprecedented and authoritarian legal moves.
Someone said ad hominem fallacy. I'm giving very clear examples of things you do and things you cry about, and I'm saying because you cry about that, there's no way you could handle a tougher situation like an invasion if you couldn't handle wearing a mask. You're not built like that, bro. You're not built for that. If you cannot handle wearing a mask, you're not going to maintain enough discipline or composure to maintain a militia front against a tyrannous dictatorship. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. I'm just saying. That's not ad hominem. Just because you feel like a pathetic little baby does not mean I'm using ad hominem.
Moves every single day. But unfortunately, when it comes to understanding the law, media literacy, whether we're talking about traditional media or Joe Bob's freewheeling.
You're on the blue-haired lesbian side. You know what? I probably am on some blue-haired lesbians side, okay? But the thing is, if they say something, I'll listen to them and say, okay, well, here's things I disagree with, here's things I agree with. You get mad because you have a little monkey brain and you have a lizard brain as well, and you have like a little chihuahua brain. So you see these like women saying things, you get mad just because they're women. You don't know why you're mad. You just know that you're mad because you're offended.
An independent podcast for free thinkers, TM, is abysmal. And we will continue to tirelessly explain both the legal and illegal moves of this increasingly dictatorial president. And we will continue to work to broaden our scope to make sure we don't leave out other legal stories and get back to the fun law splainers and reactions. So is Legal Eagle biased? You're damn right we are. We care deeply about...
You're gish galloping to a more easily defeated topic of trans rights. Yes, I'm talking about trans rights. That's what I'm trying to do, bro. Yes, exactly.
The rule of law, and we're not going to hide it. Being objective doesn't mean both sidesing things.
You probably have blue-haired balls, you feckless ginger whack job.
Can't do a story about a Democrat doing something illegal every time Trump does something illegal because there just aren't enough Democrats. The lawbreaking isn't evenly distributed, and we're not going to tell you a fairy tale that they are. And if that bothers you, maybe it's time to start demanding better from your politicians. Maybe you should be biased too. Thank you for listening to this op-ed. Admittedly, this video contained more opinion than most of our normal videos. If you'd like to support the mission of this channel to demystify the legal miasma that we live in, one way to do so is by signing up for our homegrown streaming platform and sponsor Nebula. On Nebula, you can watch all of our videos ad-free and early because our videos always go up on Nebula first. This channel has been increasingly demonetized this year on YouTube. For example, our recent video about how the government...
Someone said mass report. Of course, conservatives need to mass report you because they hate freedom of speech. Because freedom of speech means they're going to look like dumbasses on the timeline, and they can't handle it. That's why they're afraid to call into my show right now. No one wants to call in. No one can call in right now because they know that they have no facts on their side. They're going to get emotional, get mad. They're going to feel some type of way. I'm going to say something factual. They're going to say, well, you might be right, but I think my emotions tell me otherwise. That's how every conversation goes that I have. Just saying. What a shame, what a shame. The judge of life that you can change. Choir sings, the church bell rings. What a shame, what a shame. The judge of life that you can change. Choir sings, the church bell rings. What a shame, what a shame. The judge of life that you can change. Hello? See? They always run away from it. They always run away. Once they hear a fact, they run away. Easy. What a shame, what a shame. Hello?
Hello?
Howdy, what's up?
How's it going? Is this the YouTube video, Trump is bad?
Yes, it is.
How's it going, man? Just wanted to talk to you.
It's going alright, how are you?
So far, so good.
Nice, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know, like, tell me why you think Trump's bad, I guess. I mean, I'm on a different kind of wavelength. I just want to make sure maybe I'm in the wrong.
So like right now, for example, the owner of TikTok, a Chinese billionaire, gave Trump $300 million to his cryptocurrency, his cryptic money scam. And he's paying Trump directly, and Trump is giving political favors in return for money and consent and like gifts and compliments.
Well, I mean, that's kind of nuts, but like all politicians are a little corrupt. My thing is it in our best interest or is it in his?
It's
Does
in
it
his,
benefit
and also
us?
all politicians are not nearly as corrupt as Trump. That's something that can be an easy
I
cop out.
agree. No, I totally agree. Not trying to cop out or anything like that. I'm sure there are some really good, politicians out there.
Well, even bad politicians were never as bad as Trump is. Like you could talk about Bush or Nixon or anyone.
Well,
or
I'll be
even
honest.
like,
Trump's not a politician, and I think that's kind of the.
yeah, he is a
know?
politician. He's been president for almost 10 years now. He is a politician. He's always been a part of politics and politics discussions. He was a big Clinton donor. He was a big Jeffrey Epstein friend. So like.
Yeah, so that's a Democrat thing, right? He was donating to the Clintons and stuff. And he's running as a
Okay.
Republican.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
did
back in
whatever
the
could get
90s,
him advantage, right? Whatever can help him.
100%. But he was honest about it. Even in the 90s, he said if I had to run, I'd run as a Republican, even though he was actually a Democrat for majority of his voting career. My thing is, I understand that he might not be doing the things that are the best, but I can't say that every president did. You know what I mean?
When you make tough decisions in life, how do you judge anything? Like, how do you compare two politicians to see who's better, who's worse, who's the lesser of two evils? Like, do you have the ability to have nuance and say, like, okay, this guy's a lot worse than this guy, or this guy's a lot better, or this guy's a little bit better, you know?
Yeah, to an extent. I try not to trust anyone that goes into politics in general. That's the thing. I think the reason that Trump appeals to a lot of people is that he wasn't necessarily trying to take that podium. And can I say he didn't actually try to become president? It was kind of something that he fell into. And honestly, if people didn't say that he couldn't have been president, he probably wouldn't have tried so hard to become president.
Yeah, but everything you're saying right now sounds like I guess the story to like a movie and like a kids show. It's not really anything about like who's a good president or like what policies they do or like how corrupt they are. So I don't really know.
Well,
and I know most people think in stories and narratives, but I just like to evaluate politics, you need to have more of an analytical brain that like looks at like the actual outcomes of things.
Well, on that point, we shouldn't be a two-party system, right? Like that's why we got rid of the Whigs.
Well, that's
back in the
another
day.
point. But okay, but do you realize you're saying yet another thing that's just like a narrative? You're not talking about policies or outcomes. You don't know like how to judge different politicians, and that's fine. That's why I talk to people.
Well,
We can talk about different policies and stuff.
what can I do to help better my outlook on things? I like to break things down to, they have platforms, Republican, Democrat, and you have people are pro-life, and it's so 50-50. You should be able to agree to certain policies on one side and also agree to policies on another side, and it should be a discussion, not so much a combative, thing. And I'm trying to enlighten myself. And you seem like a very educated dude, so I was hoping to get some insight on that.
Well, Trump's had the least productive first 100 days of any president in American history, I think. Only 5 pieces of legislation passed through Congress is really low for the first 100 days, but he is doing executive orders, which are basically temper tantrums that he puts out in memos and other things. Like, for example, he'll say, this executive order is to make drugs cost nothing, and this executive order is to make manufacturing come back. And he's just making proclamations and doing it for the media story.
No, I totally get it. And honestly, I don't think that executive orders were meant in this way.
They were not,
it was
yeah.
supposed to be like
that is correct.
Yeah, it was like an end-all, be-all. And now it's kind of like, well, this is to show where I stand. So, yeah, I don't know, man. And that's another reason I called in, and I just figured we'd talk about it.
Well, executive orders originally, so like Congress would make a law, the executive carries out laws. Executive orders or memos,
like
2 different things the president can do. It's kind of like telling the executive branch or ordering the executive branch to follow Congress's laws in a different way. Trump does it as if he's making new laws or royal decrees, which is it's not that at all, but he acts like it is.
Well, from somebody that comes from a, he's not an actor, but like performance, that's his background. But he's actually bankrupted more companies than he became, profitable.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what people do. You got to try it until something works, right? Edison, I think he came out. There was like a quote, it doesn't matter how many times you fail, but you only got to make it work once. And I'm paraphrasing.
Well, yeah, Edison was a democratic socialist. Fun fact. But yeah, for Trump, like people talk about him like he is a what's a good word for it? He's a very special person, all right, who he's not a politician. Why would he understand anything at all? as if he was not president for he was not president for 4 years, and he still does not understand basic concepts about the world, or he lies about them. Like Biden was tired and he was stuttering and he was like not making sense a lot of the time. But like, I mean, he was not making sense in terms of the words he said. There's not one time I heard Biden talk about a concept and was like, okay, well, he does not know what this concept is from a point of intelligence or understanding. Like Trump gets the words out, but Trump is gone way more than Biden was when it comes to general understanding of how policies work. But of course, in American politics, it's easier to pound the table and yell and be successful rather than talk about policies in a way that doesn't sound popular, like Biden did.
No, I agree. The problem is we live in a society where these cinematics will, carry more weight than the actual policies that are behind these people.
Yeah.
What I like about Trump is that he is unapologetically, pro-America. Unfortunately, these tariffs, I understand they're not going to be the best thing for us because everyone thinks that the tariffs are going to be, taxing these other countries, but it actually falls on the American people. But it gives us leverage, even against our allies. Like, the fact that we're tariffing the allies is my biggest point. But over time, with a little bit of foresight, you can see that we can use that as leverage. What I don't like is the fact that it also gives him leverage to pause these tariffs and make his buddies a lot of money.
Well, yeah, but also
So,
the good parts you're talking about, there's no reason to believe there's any good aspects at all about the tariffs. There's no economic data anywhere from any period in human history to think these tariffs are going to be successful. So, like, we could say, in concept, they're going to work.
As a reserve, though, right?
And they're leaving the U.S. dollar.
Worldwide,
They're losing trust in the U.S. dollar as a result of Trump. So we might not be the reserve currency for much longer if we keep on going down this road as well.
But should we, though? Like, if we're talking about, like, the benefit of the world, we no longer back our dollar by gold. It shouldn't have even been a reserve dollar to begin with. We don't.
Yes,
back
it should have. If we were gold backed,
gun.
America would have fallen apart a long time ago with a gold backed currency. There's a reason no nations use gold, because using the systems that we have today are much more lucrative and much more successful at maintaining financial systems and monetary systems.
See, this is why I called. Enlighten me on this, because to me, it makes sense that, hey, I'm going to use this currency and it's backed by this, amount of gold. You're telling me that we would have fallen apart. You make a good point. Explain it in detail.
Why would it make more sense to why would it make more sense to tie currency to gold, which is a finite resource, versus tying it to the economy and trying to map it onto the real economy and actual production versus just like gold numbers?
And again, you're more educated than I am, but when I talk about currency, I talk about something of use. Like back in the day, we traded seashells because people use seashells for fucking cutting rope, or, you can use it for a variety of things. You can trade it for, gold, which was, electric conductive. It has a lot of really beneficial properties. Tying it to gold made sense not just for, someone storing it away, but it actually has a lot of useful properties.
So, for example, the Great Depression, for example, everything you're saying right now, okay, so at a very base level, the Great Depression, if we did not have a gold-backed currency or a currency that was backed by something finite or tied to a material, if you have a Great Depression, it's harder for the government to inject money or to take money out of an economy to do inflation, deflation, to fight stagflation, recessions, whatever it might be. So it's good to have an economy where you can use some mechanism to change the money supply in a way that can handle economic upturns and downturns more effectively. If you rely on gold, if people stop finding gold or gold becomes more limited for whatever reason, or a nation hoards the gold, that can create almost zero ability to handle economic recessions and economic downturns. That's one big reason every country went to a centralized system like we have today.
Yeah, but isn't that the same thing as other countries hoarding the U.S. dollar? Right? Like that's a big deal right now. A lot of people are hoarding the U.S. dollar because it's a reserve currency better than their current. Is that not a good point? Like, we have to print money because other countries, and I'm not saying it's a good idea to print more money, which leads to higher inflation. I'm just saying, like, if we're using this as a gold standard, we can limit that.
The right? American currency being trusted as a reserve currency makes it much less expensive for us to borrow money. It's really complicated, though.
Why can we borrow money, though? We and that's another thing is we in World War II we were very national, where we manufactured everything here. It wasn't until we got pulled in that
Well,
we
we
had
could
to start
so like
sending.
we can borrow money to stimulate the economy and to spur growth, but like we go into debt so we can give tax cuts to the wealthy mostly. So like Ronald Reagan tripled the deficit in his presidency by doing
Yeah,
huge
it was
tax cuts for the
terrible.
wealthy that we did not need. Bush
Yeah,
also did huge
the
tax cuts we did
trickle
not
down
need.
was
So
a terrible
like
idea.
if you look at
I agree.
the national debt goes down under Democrats and up under Republicans every single time. But Republicans are manipulative liars, so people think it's the other way around.
Well, you have to also agree that people can go from one to the other, right? Like Clinton had beaten the deficit. We're almost, I don't know the numbers, but I know our national debt was at the lowest with Bill Clinton, senior, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not against Democrats. I'm not for Republicans. I'm just saying as a unit, we shouldn't
So like
be a
when
two-party system.
when Bill Clinton was able to, again, the two-party system does not matter because people don't vote good anyway. Like people do not make good decisions. It doesn't matter what system we have if
Can we
people are
talk
going to vote
about
like this.
why?
Even
Can
in
we
the
talk about
UK,
why?
UK has a multi-party parliamentary system, and they're still voting for
Parliament,
the
yeah,
MAGA party
yeah.
there. Okay, so like Bill Clinton, for example, raised taxes on the wealthy and cut government spending at the same time, which made us have a budget surplus. That would work now. We do not need to run deficits, but Republicans do not want to do that. But like just in general, the financial markets are probably the most boring thing to talk about because you don't understand very basic things about the economy. You should not talk about financial
I
markets. You
do.
don't
I'm
understand
an
very basic
economic
things.
major, and I also, I'm a little buzzed. I just figured I'd call in because you seem like a cool dude.
You're buzzed.
What?
Are you a
can't
bee?
enjoy it?
Are you a bee?
What is a bee?
A bee buzzes.
No. I'm having a couple Long
Yeah, I
Island
know.
iced teas.
I know what you mean. Oh yeah, just in
okay.
general. Okay, so the two-party system. Okay, we could say two-party system over and over and over again, but if you look at the decision between like Trump and Harris and vote for Trump, then it doesn't matter what system we have because voters are gonna make shitty
Yeah,
decisions
but
regardless.
Harrison, it wasn't a vote for Kamala Harrison. She didn't win the nomination. Biden did, and he had to step down, which projected this person
Okay,
that was not.
okay, I understand that. I understand
again, I'm
this.
not
I understand that
against it.
story. I understand that story, by the way. But when it comes to the utility, politicians are tools. People think about it in emotional ways. Politicians are tools. If you look at the tool aspect, who's going to be better for America? If you look at their policies and their records, Harris versus Trump, and vote for Harris, that shows the American people are making stupid decisions. Okay, so a multi-party system would not fix that. Even if Kamala Harris is unlikable, or if she did not actually win the primary, or Joe Biden stayed in too long, regardless, those things don't matter emotionally. Those things do matter emotionally. It does not matter what the actual outcomes for the American people. That's the big thing that I care about is actual outcomes and policies. But the American people are very emotional when they vote. So there's a lot of issues there.
Hey, fair enough. My thing is I feel very secure. I'm in Southern California. The borders, I feel a lot better about. I'm not saying that one did the better or whatever. I'm just saying I feel a little better about it. Now,
Yeah, I know
when
you
it
feel
comes
better about
to,
it, but it's just like emotional stuff too. So it's yeah.
well, you've got to make up your mind, right? Are we talking emotional or are we talking actual platform? As far as
Yeah, are we
emotions,
talking
I
so
feel
like
more secure.
for feeling better, Democrats, my biggest thing about Democrats is they don't message at all and they don't talk aggressively about things, even when people want them to be aggressive. So I would say, like,
Okay.
from a messaging standpoint, Democrats are very weak on that topic. They gave no counter narrative to Trump saying all immigrants are freaking savages that deserve to be killed. Democrats could have given a response to that. That would be strong, but that we have weak candidates and weak messaging. So that's a big issue with them.
I agree, because a lot of the best people were immigrants. I mean, we're a country of immigrants, and there should be a lot of positive outlook on that. But at the same time, there shouldn't be an open border where we're accepting people that probably don't deserve a third, fourth, fifth, seventh chance. And, it's resulting in kind of some bad stuff. And
But there's never an open
that's
border. There's asylum laws that are pretty lax. That's the issue. There's not enough capacity for the immigration system. Our asylum courts are backed up very far. And
okay.
Trump killed the border
Hey,
bill
let's
under
talk
Biden that
about
would have
that.
helped out with that.
Let's talk about that. So I'm not saying it's an open border. I'm not saying that like they just let everyone through, even though there's videos of, Border Patrol that literally had to stand down to let people through. My thing is, if you lived in Southern California next to a border, I'm sure your perspective might have changed. Right?
People that hate immigration live 5 minutes away from me in like northern Pennsylvania, so I don't think it matters that much.
Well, I got people that hate my neighbors next to me. I mean, people's perspectives are not, they're not their end all be all.
All I'm saying is the American people that voted Trump in
located.
are not all border states. Actually, a majority of them are not border states, and they still voted on the border because they don't like immigrants, and Trump made them hate immigrants. So you might be able to say, "Oh, I'm by a border, so it's different." Maybe there is some
that's
differences,
weird to
obviously,
say.
but people
That's
in
weird
like
to say.
people in like Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania are not really dealing with the excesses of the southern border.
That's crazy that you say that, because actually a lot of immigrants went to those states you just named. There's actually a state, I think it's in or not state. There's actually a city in Wisconsin, and the highest male-born name is Muhammad, which again I'm not against.
I know you saw that Twitter post, okay? What I'm saying is,
No,
in those states, there is no place you can see any crime rate increase. There's no place you can see any negative effects of it. I'm talking about negative effects of immigration. I'm not talking about people seeing brown people around or hearing the name Muhammad. I'm talking about violence or crime rate. I'm talking about real issues that are affected by real people. Okay.
Hey.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh, shit. Oh. Let's see here. All right, that guy can call back. 772. Oh no, what's going on here? Please drop a like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching. Please donate to Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Really appreciate it if you do.
Call from
Darren.
Hello?
Hello.
Howdy, what's up?
Howdy. Is this currently live?
Yep, it's live.
Great. Cool. I was just calling in. Did that other guy hang up, or did I accidentally intercept his call or something?
No, I hung up on him because he kept interrupting me, and I didn't feel like talking to him anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
I get a little fluttery
so I
with
just
your
hopped
microphone.
on. Sorry?
Your microphone's a little like a little robot-y.
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why that is. Can you at least understand me okay?
I'm sorry, I can't do it. It's gonna kill us. Okay, other person. Other person. Over there. Underwear. You said underwear. Please join the Discord channel, guys. There's people talking in there right now. Join the Discord, alright? It's in all my video descriptions and in my stream description, okay? Here it is as well. Oh, that's not the wrong thing. I'm stupid. Wait a second. Join the Discord.
call from
Hello.
Hey, evening. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing solid. This is I'm sorry, I don't actually know. Jolah or
Yeah, that works. They both work.
That's fair enough. Anyway, man. Hi, I'm Jim. I heard you're from Pennsylvania. I just started a second ago, or northern Pennsylvania. I'm from Philly, so nice to meet you, man. I am at least I consider myself like a moderate Trump supporter. So you want to debate? Do you have a subject you want to start on? I know you were hitting with fiat currency and with the other guy, which he didn't seem to really understand. I also disagree with some of the stuff you said about that. I also feel like there's a much stronger argument to make about border control. So you pick, man. I'm it's your show.
Well, some of the questions I ask to see what kind of Trump supporter you are is, first off, about the January 6th pardons. How do you feel about those?
I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like one of my biggest complaints about Trump is that he kind of sees things as like a red versus blue only sort of thing. Like he's very naive when it comes to like the necessity of politicking, and I feel like that's because he has not been part of the system. He's kind of an outsider stumbling into it, and he thinks that gives him an advantage. So I do actually criticize him for that. I feel like there were definitely probably some people that were arrested in there that on a case-by-case basis I would say weren't worth pardoning, but there were definitely some people like something that made me sick. There was that Capitol Hill police officer that was killed. There were some people there that committed murder. Like, for instance, I don't believe we should have pardoned those people whatsoever.
Well, yeah, I mean, traumatic brain injuries and fingers lost, and there's at least there's a good number of people that were directly assaulting officers. I will say when
Correct.
Republicans talk about oh, this person was wrongly persecuted or prosecuted, if you look up their name, you can usually find a court case and see exactly what they did. I promise there's no one that just walked in that day that served more than 30 days or 2 months in jail or whatever. Anyone that was in there for anyone that was still in jail when Trump came and pardoned them was a violent offender or they did something else. Whenever I think
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk says they should all be pardoned because they're all they were all violated due process. They were not violated due process in any sense of the word. So
No, no. I won't say we're violated due process. I feel like perhaps some of the and you even made the point that there was a lot of basic minor assaults that occurred alongside the more serious things, and I'm assuming. Actually, I did not look this up, so I'll have to take you at your word with that. That they did not spend very long in jail whatsoever.
well,
So
even
they're
pushing an
pardoned.
officer in any situation, let alone storming a government building to slow
Yeah,
down the certification of an election is going to be a pretty big deal. If you even touch an officer on purpose, is going to be a legal issue in anywhere. Yeah, I guess I would probably say that Trump looked at that. He said recently the cops are the enemy on that day and the rioters are on his side. He met with one of the leaders of January 6th that was charged with evidence with sedition against the U.S. government and against America. So he is on that side. So we don't need to talk about that too much. But I think Trump has clearly made it known he's happy with what happened that day, and he probably wanted it to happen given all the pardons.
Yes, and that's
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
No, and that's the difficult part. Is I think that's why Trump ran 99% or 100% negative ads for the campaign, because he wins by making his opponents look bad. He doesn't really win by making himself look good, and I think that's bad for politics in general. But Trump won with some of the lowest approval ratings in American history. He's already very low, so those are big things. The other stuff I'd bring up as huge points. The Elon Musk stuff, where Elon Musk definitely stole information from our government information to use in AI to train AI. We know that servers were accessed by Russia and China when they were doing that as well with Doge, accessing our government's private information and sensitive information. And also, Trump deals with Qatar right now, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. All those Middle Eastern countries are giving Trump properties in their countries, giving Trump gifts.
Correct.
There's Chinese billionaires giving Trump $300 million who are tied to TikTok. So that's the biggest corruption scheme in American history from the president, using the office to make money, using the White House as a place for tours for the people that give him the most money personally.
It's definitely the most, I would say, the most public, but when you say the biggest, are we just talking about we have the most evidence about it, that are outright immediate?
It's
because
the biggest we have any proof of.
Because I don't know about that, because we've gone over the years, we definitely have had multiple presidents that have actually had different various corruption scandals. We go back to, we're talking about Nixon and what he was involved in. Now that didn't come to light till much later, but I definitely believe that I feel like if I say that it's due to his political naivety, I'm letting him off the hook because he is the president and he should be held accountable for that. For whatever, again, one of my largest criticisms of the president is that he doesn't seem to understand that these are not just, he can't just take a gift. This isn't just his, shopping sprees through Saudi Arabia.
Well, I'll tell you
However,
one thing. Go ahead.
I would say, however, and not to dismiss it, because you are right, and I would say that political corruption is definitely something we need to kind of tack down on. However, would you not agree that the current dealings and the current workings that we are making with these countries, where we are attempting to sway them away from Chinese and Russian influence? And I know, I assume, I don't know, because I actually only started watching you for a little bit tonight. You probably would say, Trump and Russia have a big link together, and we want to get to that. We can get to that. But, is it not necessary for us to court Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and these things to remove them from the Eastern Bloc? I mean, we already have this growing financial movement like BRICS that is attempting to actively usurp and undermine the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency for the world. Excuse me. And I feel like, although some of the decisions that he's making is very difficult and perhaps self-serving, that he is able to get in there and talk to these people. Whereas
So like
Biden,
when it comes to Trump like thinking he can make deals or whatever, I don't think he cares about America at all. I mean Syria, for example. Syria gave him a plan to have a Trump Tower there, and the next day he removed all sanctions on Syria. With Saudi Arabia, he brought Elon Musk, Sam Altman, the CEO of BlackRock. He brought them with him to Saudi Arabia to give them access to the U.S. government and Saudi Arabian government to crack deals to benefit his biggest donors. And with Qatar, Qatar makes so much money, blood money, killing American troops. They have bounties on American heads. These countries have purposely assassinated American journalists and approved strikes on American journalists. And Trump was there shaking their hands today and giving them huge praises. And like the fact that the plane thing is insane as well. The plane gift, quote unquote gift.
Oh, yeah.
There's really nothing like what's happening right now. There's no, like, if you bring up Nixon, there's nothing Nixon level. Like Watergate happens every day right now. The Doge stuff is insane. Like, and we can't go into any of this stuff, and that's the point. I can't go into any of these issues with you enough without us talking for 10 hours because they purposely do it all at once because we can't focus enough on one of the things. Or even Elon Musk killing every agency in the government that was investigating his companies for corruption and fraud. Like it's just like it's a wacky world where the richest man in the world is seen as a hero, and now I hear people think Bernie Sanders is corrupt because RFK said so. We're like anti-measles vaccine. We're like everything is just like going kind of crazy. And one more point just on turning countries away from turning countries towards the West. I don't think that's inherently a bad thing, but Trump is not doing this for good reasons. There's a reason he's praising the Houthis and Hamas right now. It's because he was paid off. Because Israel also pays him off, and Qatar and Saudi, they all came with bigger paychecks, and Trump's like, oh, I guess I'm pro Houthis now, which is insane. It makes sense why Trump changes his mind so much because it's whoever can flatter him more. Kamala was right about that. And that's what the intelligence briefings said. You can flatter Trump to get concessions and deals, and that is true. But on China, Trump's tariffing the entire world at 10%, has increased China's exports to all-time highs. They have struck an all-time high in trade deals with other countries. If we would have just tariffed China, it might have made sense, but we tariffed every country in the world. Allies, we said we want to invade Canada, Mexico, Greenland. We have turned countries to the east, to China, to Russia more than we have in American history. And also, one final thing, it's really hilarious to me to see the Trump White House say how it's so important to go to Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all these different countries that put bounties on American troops' heads. We have to use all these resources for them. But then with Ukraine, it's not our job to be involved in Ukraine. We could give all the arms to Saudi Arabia, Israel. We could empower Qatar. We could do UAE. We could do all this stuff. But Ukraine, oh my God, we can't. And Zelensky follows everything Trump says. Putin has spit in Trump's face multiple times, and Trump is sounding like a little baby. Like, Vladimir, no, I think Vladimir may have changed. It's like, it's so crazy.
I just want to say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you in the middle there, but you
you're
said
good.
something that this always, not you, but whenever this comes up, and I have to remember this, it gets on my nerves. But one thing that I absolutely infuriates me is that he is so anti-Ukraine. He is so anti-Ukraine, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but you're right. Zelensky basically kowtowed around to Trump, and he didn't get anything for it because the man is fighting against a nuclear power. That is, I think, the one thing that we will agree on outright. I'm not even gonna. I won't.
And America's the reason they have no nukes too. America's the reason they have no nukes.
Yes, but if we were going to blame that, if we were going to point the blame, I don't think we can point that directly at Trump. We would have to say every.
Oh no, not Trump. But the point is, if we denuclearize a country and we don't back them, then no other countries are going to give up their nukes ever.
Right? Why?
Because of that.
The solution is, if we want to talk about later down the road, like, hey, North Korea, you don't need nukes. It's very reasonable for North Korea to be like, we saw you do this before. So I agree with that. I agree with that.
And also the Afghanistan translators we're going to send back. Like we might send back the Afghan. Like the idea we're bringing the South Africans here, but not the Afghanistan people that risk their entire lives to support America to be translators. We're not going to give them safe havens here. Yeah. I hope they will. I hope they'll reverse that decision. But it's really, I don't like that. Yeah.
I do hope that they reverse their decision because those men and women and all those people have, if you fight alongside us, like you're basically part of our brotherhood. But Qatar, that's something I want to say is that I feel like do you not think it's a slight attribution to say that Qatar is responsible for those bounties, for those deaths of American soldiers, when it's like the Muslim Brotherhood, Al Qaeda, I believe they have Hamas affiliation as well, although that's a little bit more complicated. But like we've said we can point to these terror groups that they're directly backing, but like we have to point to Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, all of them back these terror groups as well. So I don't agree with the idea that we shouldn't deal with Qatar because they are actively being antagonistic to us. We're forced to do it because they are part of this larger plan to swap more countries away from the China, Russia, India bloc influence.
No, I would
And
say
that-
that it is something Trump has excused in the past with like Russia putting bounties on American troops, which you know for a fact with the Taliban. So I would say, I mean, by relation, putting all those countries into the same grouping, I think it does make sense to say that at least historically. And Trump himself said that Qatar is a huge sponsor of terrorism when he was president the first term before before the money got to him. That was a huge conversation, but it does seem like it's pretty. They don't really have many values when it comes to America on the global stage, which I think is really bad. Because if America is not leading the global stage, then we are going to lose global freedom, in my opinion. If we are not going to be a leader in that, so.
Yeah, I've often I was like 20 years ago. I was a Navy guy, and I always said that the U.S. Navy is responsible for global trade, and we keep backing off on that. And I don't think that he understands.
Oh, no one understands that, man. No one understands. Like they always say, America's getting screwed over, but like the post World War II globe has benefited America. That's the reason we're the most powerful, richest country in the world, and we act like Cambodia and Vietnam are screwing us over because they make our shoes. It just makes. If people are mad about the rich having too many resources, that's one thing. But America is the richest country for a reason. I don't know why people think we're getting screwed over. Like that's why we give foreign aid to countries, because if we give foreign aid to Guatemala for their pea farmers, there's less migrants and we have more trade routes. So yeah.
They remember exactly, and I think that the idea that I believe that we should have both like a border control and an immigration reform, but like as you said, if we can invest a little bit in our nearby countries where a lot of these migrants will come from, we can slow the flow of people that need to come here or want to come here, and we can gain some benefit in return by promoting trade. But I believe that this tariffs and this is I'm so sorry to even say this because I feel like I just got to spit it out, because this is one of those things I feel like I would talk too long about for this segment. The tariffs are part of this like gambit to weigh the U.S. economy, which is massive. It can withstand multiple recessions against that global trade. I believe at the end of this, because I don't think it's genuine. I'm sorry, I don't think it's genuine to say that tariffs have never benefited a country that have put it upon them, but they need to be that have issued them, but they need to be lightly used. This is just a massive scaling up of previous.
Well, that's a caveat too. Like any tariffs of this size for this developed nation, typically you'll see India use large tariffs. But even the justification for the numbers in the tariffs has been complete lies and fake. And that's why we're losing so much in our bond markets, and our debt's going to be more expensive because less people are buying American bonds and trusting the American dollar. So. And a lot of that is our military influence as well. And if we're going to be pressuring Europe to not support Ukraine as much and threatening to cut off intel, we have cut off intel to Ukraine, which also makes no sense for any reason.
Which is the weapon they needed. Yeah.
And like I always tell about like in general too, when it comes to intel, the NATO training exercises with Ukraine, like we have gotten back so many billions of dollars, probably some priceless information from Ukraine fighting in 21st century warfare, drone warfare. We're learning so much from them for our missile defense systems, because we get a copy of whenever a Patriot system fires off there, we have a copy of that. We're perfecting our system. So like Ukrainian soldiers are dying and paying the ultimate price to give us data for this stuff. It's not like America, like we paid Americans to do these weapons, we paid Americans to facilitate the shipment, and now we get the intel back from Ukraine. So even in that standpoint, supporting Ukraine makes sense.
In a bit of a brutal way to say it, every time a Russian and Ukrainian soldier exchange weapons fire, we are gaining vital intel that proves that Russia cannot exert influence upon the larger world. But were you a military man by any chance, or?
Oh no, I had family. I had family and friends.
Understandable. Okay, no, it's fine. I just was curious because I was like, not a lot of people will actually bring up like how much mass gets read off of a single like Patriot missile battery firing against.
Oh yeah, and like I know they. No, I just do like I like to know about things that I talk about, and I talk about Ukraine a lot. And
no,
and,
like
even like they found out the ghillie suits, if they wear a certain amount of insulation with the ghillie suits, it's harder for the drones to detect heat signatures at certain distances as well. So another thing Ukraine found out. Yeah.
Terrifying. Thermal warfare is completely terrifying. But but I guess to summarize, what I was trying to say is that as far as these other sort of, I don't want to call them military kind of expenditures, but I think the idea that we're trying to supplement any defense budget that we are spending with this economic pressure is the idea. Yes, we are down. Yes, the markets are down. But like any large market change will do that. I believe if we are successful, this will wrap back up. And I mean, I guess we all hope that this is successful, but obviously we're scared that this will create another massive recession.
Well, I would say with the tariffs, I don't see any economic benefit to them. The only thing I see that they like about it, the same thing with ICE, is that it's another executive function Trump can do by himself. And there's loopholes, there's legal loopholes, and Trump can use it to get donations from companies that want exemptions. And that's the big thing about these isolationist countries like North Korea and everything. They do things that are not good for the country, but are good for them maintaining power. And I think it's another power mechanism. I mean, hopefully there's some rhyme or reason for it, but I just don't believe there is. And also, just one more thing for the chat on the Ukraine thing.
Yeah.
The most embarrassed I've been as an American is watching Zelensky speaking his like fifth language in the Oval Office and having J.D. Vance and Trump lie their asses off about everything about Ukraine and yelling at him when he's trying to get the words off in a fifth language that he speaks, and saying, have you even said thank you? When Zelensky has said thank you publicly and with more passion than any world leader in any conflict I've ever seen in my entire life. And J.D. Vance and Trump never even approved aid. Like, J.D. Vance voted against all aid to Ukraine. Yeah. Trump didn't. He never supported it. He never even sent any so far. There have been no aid packages done under Trump. And the aid that was passed under Biden was sent under Trump only because he stopped pausing the already assigned like congressional allocated funds. And it's just like because of the minerals deal is making him happy. But again, everything's a quid pro quo. Everything's like a mafia game. Like, oh, I get a percentage of your business, or you know, like. Or we're gonna kill your family. Like, we're giving you protection and danger, depending on which way
I would phrase it a slightly different way, but I understand that you have. It sounds like you're adverse to like this level of cutthroat politics. I feel like there's some benefit to them, but I feel like if I may speak out to any of my fellow Republicans that are lurking around your chat, I would say one of the more beneficial things we can do is don't just go along with everything. Speak up when you're like, no, I don't think, speak up to your congressman or anything. Like, these people deserve to be criticized. I'm not going to blindly say I agree with all of these things, but I do think in the long term, this will have been a better presidency than what we've gotten with Kamala Harris, in my opinion. And I guess that's what I can say about it, man. I'm not gonna defend all that stuff that happened with Ukraine. I can't do it. I don't have it in my heart, brother.
I guess my main points after that. Yeah, I mean, if you look at American tourism right now, for the first time in history, I think more countries favor China over the U.S. So China's reigning supreme. We removed a lot of USAID stuff, which I'm not going to say it all helps people, but it does help American influence. China is replicating our programs and going into areas we left, and they're taking up influence in those areas as well, which I know you understand. You understand soft power and trade routes and how big that can be. Like I said, Canada, Mexico, Europe, they're all trying to find ways to go towards away from us. And for American independence, I know people want that. America needs Canada and Mexico to have a safe North America and a self-sustainable North America. We need the resources of Mexico and Canada and the workforce, the workforce that'll do the base level manufacturing of Mexico. And the immigrants always did the shitty jobs, whether it's Irish, Polish, Chinese, like they all did the shitty jobs. So.
And I know we look down a lot on Mexico as like, oh, they're the poor one, but like that's in North America. It's really hard for some people who just live here to be like, Canada, the U.S. and Mexico are extremely,
and they want to work with us too. They complain a lot about us giving guns to Mexico. Like our guns go into Mexico for the cartels, and Trump complains about drugs from Mexico, but we never talk about the other way around. But also, so tourism is down to the U.S. like 30%, which is going to be really bad for the economy. Overall confidence in the market. It's really hard for businesses to make any type of plan if the president has executive power to turn tariffs on and off, and if he's very unstable like this. Because then, if you're gonna make a 10-year plan as an investor, you might just wait for him to be gone if you don't get actual policies done. And Trump gets nothing done through actual Congress because I don't think he's a leader. He pounds his table. He says, "Get this done. Do it." And that's how he views the world. And he views the world, I think it is like a sort of like a child mentality, but it's also, if you want things to change, you need it done through law. Executive orders at the border don't matter. And Trump got that one immigration bill killed. Manufacturing in America is going down right now, especially for the industries we need for chips and semiconductors, because manufacturing is freezing and materials are more expensive. So when it comes to Kamala versus Trump, and also Trump wants to kill healthcare, and he has no plan for healthcare. He had no plan during the campaign. So we can go through whatever number of policies, but...
Apologies. You finished your thought. Because I say, did we not just actually get with something today where he is attempting to actually put price controls upon the consumer end of pharmaceuticals?
Oh, that's a fun conversation, actually, because the price control conversation, putting direct price controls is like the socialist policy they all make fun of, where it's like, oh, the shelves are going to be empty. You need a real process to negotiate prices down, and it needs to be with like conversations, knowing the supply of the pharmaceutical companies, knowing what the price margins are in other countries. You can't just like Trump, I call them just like, I don't even call them executive orders from Trump. I call them virtue signals, because Trump has signed executive orders to do everything. Like, I have executive order that my staff needs to wipe my asshole. Like, he signed one that said like, we are going to bring back American manufacturing, and he signed it. He's like, all right, guys, it's back. It's like, that's not how this works. Or like the pharmaceutical drugs thing, we're going to make them cheaper. It's like, no, that's not how they become cheaper. You need actual Congress to actually do something with, which, I mean, I think it's a virtue signal, though.
That part of the... Man, I hate that. No, I get what you're calling it that, though. That's a fair way to put that. But when he says something like that, like you have to understand, like that's part of like the showmanship of politicking, and I feel like something that, yes, you're right. He does do it blatantly, and he kind of does it. I almost want to say like you see a little bit too much of the man behind the curtain sort of thing. Like it's too showy. You know what I mean? But like this is the executive orders. Trump, I feel like and you have not done this, so I'm not going to point my finger at you in any way and say this, but he does, the last few presidents have not signed nearly as many executive orders as past presidents. I know that's something that people keep saying, but I don't understand why that is such a controversial thing when you've had, I guess Roosevelt's kind of an unfair one to point because he was in office so long and because of this situation, but like, apologies, I'm going to get these numbers wrong, so I feel like it would be disingenuous to put them up there, but I know that like Hoover and Truman had like over 1,000 in their like their 8-year term, and like we're not even reaching levels like that at this point. So I don't feel like I kind of feel like that's a non-issue to me. Like
just to say no, like I have a graph in front of me. So like for FDR, FDR hit 100 executive orders at around like 70 days. Trump hit it at 40 days. So Trump is at a pace to set the record by far. Like he's at if you look up like Trump versus FDR versus Hoover, Hoover and Truman, and they all have those four have the highest. But Trump right now is going wild with executive orders. It's actually breaking the x-axis and like it's killing it. It's going extremely high. But yeah, someone said in chat really interesting point. Sorry, just really quick. Someone said in chat about this might be designed because Trump hates the courts, which is a key sign of a dictator, by the way. But yeah, it might be designed to do the executive order on pharmaceutical drugs because if a court strikes it down, he can say, hey, look, guys, the courts want to prevent drug prices from being lower. So I could see that as a point if he wants to delegitimize the courts further. Thank you, Epoch.
So it could be a performative. You think it could be so outrageous that
it is performative, but it depends for what reason.
Yes, entirely. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Interesting. I'll have to say that I don't know yet, and I will look up the executive orders thing because that is interesting to me. Like I said, I'm not going to in any way, shape, or form because the one that I feel like I would go to as a jump is Roosevelt, and that is completely unfair. That's a totally different issue.
Well,
but
he's killing Roosevelt too. So.
No shit, really?
Yeah, he is a lot more than FDR. And the thing is, FDR was in the Great Depression and wartime, and Trump is killing his record for.
Yeah, I would say that's why
orders.
that's not comparable to him. And I will look that up. I will as a promise, as a good faith argument, I will say that I'll
it's one
take
thing
a
to
look
keep
at
in
that.
mind too. Like, why is Trump only doing executive orders? Why is he trying to expand executive? And that's what Project 2025 is, by the way. It's expanding executive power, having unitary executive, where the executive branch matters more than any other branch of the government, where there is really no check and balance to it. And I think there's a reason Trump does not do anything with actual legislation through Congress, because he doesn't believe in the democratic part of government, which is, democratic part of government is Congress. That's a representative. And then we have the judicial branch to be law and order, independent judiciary, and Trump does not like either of those. He wants the executive to be the only thing, which is what the founding fathers really warned about. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, by the way, it says a lot of things Trump is doing right now.
If he starts, I will be very upset if he starts putting the export tax tariffs on there. I feel like that's if he does that, or if allegedly people are saying that he's looking at the habeas corpus suspension, I will be.
A habeas corpus suspension is literally what Hitler does, and I'm okay. I'm not gonna say Hitler because people say that's a meme. Okay, it's what every single Mussolini, Mao, whoever. Yeah.
I'll be out in the streets with you on that one, man. So I mean.
Okay, I appreciate that you're like reasonable on those things. All I ask always is just like we're not too tied to ideology, so.
I feel like I'm the least. I get it, because like a good argument would be someone who would actually mirror like the Trump talking points. But I am critical of the man. I feel like I just feel like unfortunately we're going to fundamentally disagree on a lot of stuff when it comes to like kind of powers, exports, and like currency. But it has been a pleasure talking to you.
No, we could chat again sometime too about something else, because I would want to. These conversations are really good too, because I feel like I'm confident if we talked for a few hours, for example, and we had a chance to go through all data sets and every single thing about Trump and Harris and Biden. I don't like Harris, by the way. I don't like Biden. Okay, so like I'm really unhappy with Democrats in general. They are a terrible. I mean, Republicans are worse, but Democrats are pathetic as an opposition party. It should be easy to defeat Donald Trump in elections. I don't care who you are; it should be easy. It should be easy. But like, all I was gonna say is like, I would definitely be interested in talking again about Democrats and about like more specifics, because I think a lot of this is a difference in information environments and what news we see more often. And maybe there's some things I don't see as often for why I don't understand other Trumpers' perspectives. But it is a fact that like when Trumpers call in, they're usually really aggressive, and I usually match energy. But if someone like you calls in, then I have really normal conversation, which I do prefer.
No, absolutely. I actually prefer it. I wasn't sure what I was getting out of this, and I'm like, screw it. Let me see. This guy is trying his best to try to state your point. And you sound like I don't like putting myself in a because I'll say that I'm like conservative, but like, would you say that you're like you don't like the Democratic mainstays, or you like a more left-leaning liberal, or something like that, or?
I really don't care about positions, really. I don't care about like ideology or about. I care about policies that work to make people's lives better. I can be easily shifted. That's why I agree with some free market things, some social democratic things. So I could agree with like universal health care. I don't agree with like Medicare for all, but I do agree with having a multi-payer system like other countries that have universal health care. So like I'm very flexible on those things.
People on the internet call people like us moderates and hate us. So I God bless you for showing up and doing this. Man.
Oh no, I'm a radical leftist. Okay, anyone like me is a radical leftist. Okay, and you're probably a racist to some leftists. So you're probably just like a Nazi.
Absolutely. Clearly, I'm over here putting the armband on as we speak. But
you're pro-Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine. Yeah, Ukraine hates America. So yeah, I appreciate it, man. Definitely call in again sometime. But yeah, I really appreciate this.
Good luck tonight. You take care of yourself.
All right, thank you too. Have a good one. My heart is healed. Finally, a nice conversation with an actual person with lived experience. My heart is healed. A real person with actual experiences in life. It's really hard to find someone like that. But I do believe the information ecosystem is the biggest issue in that conversation. Probably some cultural and upbringing things, but yeah, it's nice to have conversations like that every now and then. What do you guys think? Was that a good conversation? Nice. Please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll take one more caller. Please consider donating to Jolah Politics on PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. Really appreciate all donations. Jolah, peace. Oh, nice hands. Small W caller. Small W. Small W. Jolah Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Jolah Politics. Oh yeah, again, join Discord, all right? We have conversations in Discord all the time. I want the Discord to grow, okay? Discord server. In all my video descriptions and my stream description, there is a Discord link to be in my Discord. Okay? And it's also right there if you can use that, depending on what device you're on. Reagan privatization and Hoover isolationist, and also culturally, I don't know what was Hoover a nationalist or like a, I'm not sure. The social aspect is the most interesting thing about Trump, because economically and policy wise, it doesn't really matter. Everything about Trump is cultural. The only reason people is president is because of culture and emotions. And oh, someone who gave you zero pushback. Of course you love it. Yes, I do. Considering the pushback is usually, the 2020 election was stolen. Oh, how do you know? Because Daddy Trump told me so, and I listen to whatever my daddy says. I love the way his balls taste. It's like, okay, dude. Have a good night. The Penguins on Hurt Island are Democrats. True. True. I mean, come on, guys. It's fact. It's fact, bro. Wow, okay. Let's see what we got here. I'm gonna make a new stream, I think. I'm not getting no callers. Diversity is awesome, dude. That's gonna be my next stream title, brother. No, not that. Not that. Diversity is awesome. Charlie Kirk is terrible. So is dictator Donald Trump, aka Putin's puppet. Yeah. You go, girls. Nice. Don't. No calls for a reason. You're right, because they're afraid to debate me. Thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that. You don't know how much that really helps me be confident about myself. Thank you so much, brother. Okay. True 24-hour gamer. Nowhere to go because 4chan is dead. True. Actually, there were probably bots. Did you see the report that 44% or like, what was it? 40% of interactions on Instagram are fake? No. That's something crazy.
Should not just trust the government.
Oh, that guy did call. Call back, brother. Call back, buddy.
When this gay Republican questioned if he had a place in the conservative movement, Charlie Kirk's classy response was something no one expected.
I'm a gay conservative, and it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice?
First of all, I want to be clear. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well. And so I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything, right? First, you should say I'm a conservative. I also have, same attraction. That's fine. I just think that we have gone a long way in.
I also have same-sex attraction, like it's a disease. I have same-sex attraction.
Direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It does.
Literally, conservatives have made that be the
doesn't
case.
mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian and conservative, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Can I get a hat?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
When this gay
Nice. Based Charlie Kirk woke. Based woke Charlie Kirk woke. Woke Charlie Kirk college student debates. Charlie Kirk college student PewDiePie. PewDiePie debates college student Charlie Kirk woke. Woke Charlie Kirk PewDiePie college student debates woke. PewDiePie college student debates wokeism. Wokeism debates wokeism. Wokeism debates college students Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk wokeism debates hardcore Trump. Trump MAGA Elon Musk debates college student. I'm trying to get my keywords going for the algorithm. What else should I say? LGBTQA plus alphabet gang YOLO. Debating politics live. Dean Witherspoon. Let's see. P Diddy Trump. Donald Trump Epstein best friends. It worked. It worked. I summoned someone. Howdy.
Hello.
Howdy, sir.
Well, I mean, your party's dead, your ideology's dead and buried, never coming back. Everybody hates you. You lost the popular. You lost the electoral college.
Hey,
you lost all
hey,
swing
hey,
states. You just
hey,
everybody hates
go,
you. Your wokeness is dead.
Oh. Oof.
Your victim
Bars.
card's been revoked and you ain't happy about it.
About it. What's up?
How's it feel to have no direction in your party, no leadership, a dead party?
Party. It feels
yeah, you're a master debater, ain't you? That's
debater.
a hell of a debate skills you got
debate
there.
skill got there. I'm giving you ad-libs because you're spitting hard facts right now, brother. Yeah, I don't like you view politics as like a reality TV show. You should go watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette
Your
if you want to
party's
talk
dead.
like that.
Everybody hates you.
Yeah, I know. You could watch The Bachelor though. Go watch The Kardashians.
Donald Trump hurt
go watch.
my pussy. Donald Trump hurt my pussy.
Yeah. No.
I'm
Okay,
so
you'd be
bad.
really good on
That's
a
what you
podcast.
sound
Make your
like,
own
boy.
podcast. Make a podcast. You could be really popular. Okay,
Where's
make a
the
podcast. You
debate?
sound
you
really.
ain't got no answers, son. You're
You could
just
be
like
really.
your party. You got
Well,
no answers.
it's like a
You're all
debate in
disheveled,
terms of like who should
pretending to be a
Samantha
victim
choose
all
on this
day.
episode of The Bachelorette. You sound like a reality TV show viewer. I'm
I
talking
think
about
you are
policies
the
and stuff.
Bachelorette.
Oh wow, are you trying to get a rose from me, brother? I see how this is. You're a gay Trump supporter.
No, I
Welcome
think
to
you're
the
a
club,
woman.
brother.
I think
Hey,
you think like a
brother. No,
woman.
It's okay. It's okay. We accept people like you here, brother.
When do you get your new vagina from the doctor, boy? Your bottom surgery.
Well, where did you get yours from, brother?
Oh, I got a 9-foot cock. Your mom's seen it.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I'm proud of you.
Your dad.
Nice.
Your party's dead, son. You got to
Yeah.
reevaluate yourself. Everybody hates you for a
Yes,
reason.
I need to
You're a cry
reevaluate myself.
bully.
I help you. You need to
You're
keep
a
doing what
cry
you're doing,
bully.
King.
Trump's your
You're a
father.
king.
Trump
Yes,
fucked
I am a
up
cry
your
bully.
party. He broke it, and it'll never be back.
Never. Never, ever,
He
ever.
obliterated your party.
Obliterated.
Everybody sees the
Everybody.
ugly mask. The
Oh,
mask
the
you
ugly
used to
mask
wear of
is
love
off.
and tolerance fell off, and now you've shown
It
your
fell
ugly
off.
faces.
On their faces. All the races.
Party
You
that
hate the
cries
races.
about January 6th and then
January
burns
6th, I've been
lootens and
scamming
steals
for
and
a
kills dozens of
6th
people over a crackhead.
of a crackhead. You want all the blacks dead because you're racist. But what is
See,
going on
that
here?
stuff don't work no more.
It doesn't work
That
no
old,
more.
That old
You're
tired
twerking like
shit
a.
don't work no more.
It
You're
doesn't
the one
work
who's
no
killing
more.
all the black babies.
Oh no!
Abortion clinics
Oh
are in
no!
black
I
neighborhoods.
killed
That's
all the
your
black
party.
babies. No.
That's your party.
No. No way,
Checkmate.
Jose. Checkmate. You got
retard.
me. Yes. Keep going, brother. You're proving the
We
world
all
right
know
about
what you think
MAGA.
about the black people.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about the black
own
people.
Them. You think you
Ooh,
own them.
Fancy.
You think they got to
Fancy
think the
Mike.
way you want them to think, and if they don't, they're an Uncle Tom. We know how you feel about them, boy.
No. I think you should believe whatever you want to believe,
We
brother.
know how you
Do you like
think they
Kanye
can't
West's
get
new song?
IDs.
You like Kanye
We
West's
know
new
all
song?
about you.
You like Kanye West's new song?
I don't know Kanye West's new song.
Kanye West's new song is called How Hitler.
Well, Hitler was a socialist, hated capitalism. That's you.
Yeah,
Gun
that
confiscation,
was
that's
Hitler.
you.
Yeah, Hitler
Abortion,
was a
that was you,
socialist.
buddy.
Yes. Why did Hitler hate the Soviet Union if they were both socialist?
Hey, there's could be more than one asshole on the block. You and me are proof of that, fuckface.
Okay, why did Hitler kill the socialists and communists as his first his first duty?
Hitler
his
hated
first thing?
capitalism. The Nazi Party was the
Yeah, but
National
why did Hitler
Party.
kill the
You don't even know
communists
your
in
own
Germany?
history, boy.
Why did
You
Hitler
don't
kill the
even know that
communists
you're
in
the Nazi
Why did Hitler
Party,
kill the
boy.
communists in Germany?
You don't even know
started
you're
the
a
KKK?
Nazi. That's the
Who started the
funniest part about
KKK?
this
Oh
whole
yeah, who
thing.
started the KKK?
The Democrat Party.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Who votes Republican today?
You don't even know history. You're
Who does the
sitting here a
KKK vote
woke
for
mess.
today? Who does the KKK
Who
vote
hurt
for
your
today?
pussy? How did
Who do you think the
Donald Trump
KKK
hurt
vote
your
for today?
pussy? Show me on the
Who do you think the
dog,
Triple K votes for today? Who does the KKK vote for now?
When's the last time you seen a KKK person?
Who do they vote for now?
The
I'm talking to one.
KKK ain't a thing, retard. Ain't
You're
no
right.
KKK. They get
You're
their
right.
ass kicked anywhere they went. Ain't no fucking KKK. You're a fucking retard.
Yes.
You're literally a retard.
Hell yeah.
The KKK, you got to look out. They're
So
right
I'm
behind
just gonna
every
try to help
corner
you out
gonna
real
get
quick.
you.
I think you
The
should try taking a
KKK.
deep breath.
Hey, who
You
do
know,
the
it doesn't. You
pedophiles
sound
vote
like
for?
you sound like a very weak woman right now because you can't stop yapping and crying.
You are
so like,
a weak woman.
make sure.
You're
Well, okay,
literally a
now you sound like a
weak-ass
12-year-old.
woman.
Okay, calm down. You
got
can
a
talk to me like a
vagina.
grown
You
up.
can't
Talk to me like a
debate.
grown up. Talk
You
to me like a
don't know
grown
the
up. Talk to me
facts.
like a grown up. Talk to me like a grown up. You can talk to me like a man. Okay, you talk to me like you're a bottom feeder right now, like you're a multi toenail, like you're a little toenail, like your fungal growth at the bottom of my foot. You're a little wart growth. You gotta just like
Is that
talk
how
normal.
grown-up talks?
Take a breath.
Oh, so
Take
you're
a
telling me
breath.
talk like a grown-up and then
Take
you
a
go
second
on a
to
hissy
breathe.
fit.
Take a second to breathe, brother. Take a second to breathe.
He goes on a hissy fit telling me to talk like a grown-up.
Big breath.
This is
Big
funny.
breath. Deep breath. Okay, who hurt you?
Your party's dead. Your ideology's dead. You got outvoted on every turn. Lost
Oh,
all
someone
7 swing
said
states,
this is my father on the
lost it
phone. I'm
all,
sorry.
Lost the Senate. Lost
Someone
the House.
said this is my father on the phone.
Everybody
I'm sorry.
hates
He
you,
just
wokesters,
Do you
son.
have
It's over.
someone
Your
said this is
victim
my father
card
on the
has been
phone. I'm sorry.
revoked.
He just huffed gas. Please leave him. Is that your son?
Your victim card has been revoked.
Is that your
Pussy.
son talking to me?
It's all over.
Is that your son talking to me?
The party switch. Look up party switch debunk on Google. You'll see how that's a pile of bullshit. Yeah, the party said, let's switch. You all are retards. I'll tell you what.
Do you think we should fly the Confederate flag?
What's the Confederate flag represent?
You tell me.
I mean, you would probably say slavery.
Okay. What do you think it was?
I'm asking you. You're the expert on history here.
No. You
tell
said I
me,
don't know my
smart
history.
guy.
You tell me, expert.
What did
Tell me.
600,000
Should we?
what did
Okay, so you're
600,000
okay. We should
people
ban the
die
Confederate
for?
flag. We should ban the Confederate flag. You agree with that? I'm happy you agree.
What did 600,000 men die for in that
I'm
war?
happy. Okay.
Did they die to
Do you
end
think we should ban the
slavery?
Confederate flag? Should we ban the Confederate flag?
Did 600,000 men die to end slavery?
Is the Confederate flag bad?
Yeah, see, you won't answer because you know where I'm going.
I asked you a question first. You're avoiding me. Is the Confederate flag
I don't
bad?
think we should ban anything. I don't.
Is
give a
it
shit about
bad?
the-
Is it bad?
Who
Answer the
fuck
question,
flies
baby.
the
Hey, baby
Confederate
girl, answer the
flag?
question. Baby girl, answer
When's
the question.
the last time you saw a
Baby girl,
Confederate flag?
sissy pants. Answer the damn question. Don't run from it.
Listen to
Is the
the guy
Confederate flag
talking
bad?
like a grown
Is the
up.
Confederate
He
flag
says
bad?
talk like a grown up
I
and
called you a
says
sissy pants. Yeah, that's okay.
That's funny
Is the
shit.
Confederate flag
Boy,
bad?
listen. You call
Is the
me
Confederate
sissy
flag
pants in
bad?
person.
Is the
I'm
Confederate
68
flag
years
bad?
old and I'll beat you
Is the
up.
Confederate? Okay, I don't care, Grandpa. Is the
I got
Confederate
a
flag bad?
granddaughter who's about 19 years old, and she would break your jaw. You're a pussy. You're a little left.
Is the Confederate flag
you
bad?
can't fight nobody, boy.
Is the
You
Confederate
can't
flag
fight
bad?
Nobody, boy. No, let's set it up. Let's set up a mixed martial arts fight. Me and you, I'm 68 years old. We'll see. We'll see.
Is the Confederate flag bad?
I served my country.
Is the Confederate
Is
flag
the Confederate
bad?
flag bad, dude? I don't even see no Confederate flag.
Is it
nowhere.
bad?
What are
If you
talking
saw
about, boy?
one, is it a bad flag? Is it bad?
That war's
Is it
been
bad?
over for years, and he's
Why
still
are you
talking
scared to
about
answer the question?
Confederate
Why are you scared to
flag.
answer a question about the flag? Is it bad or not?
I don't think we should ban any flags. Fly
Is
whatever the
it
fuck
bad?
you
I
want.
did not say
Fly-
it should be banned.
Should
I
we
did not
ban
say
the
banned. You
rainbow
could hear. You
flag?
could hear. You got ears.
Should we
It should
ban
be
the
banned.
rainbow flag or not?
Should the Confederate flag be banned?
Should the rainbow flag be banned?
Keep running from my question. It's okay.
Well, it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, because you know you're wrong.
I say no, you shouldn't ban flags. You go, look, he's racist. I say
No,
yeah,
no, no,
you ban
not
the flag.
ban,
You
not
go,
ban,
oh, see?
not ban. I said, is it
See,
bad
you're
or
a
not?
retard.
Is
you
it a
think
bad
you're
flag?
so smart and you're just dude.
Okay, that's enough of that. Let's see. Let's see. There is a world where people will hear someone say, like, you know, I don't want to answer a question about the world. We should fight. That person is usually really unstable. And, like, the point of stoicism, like stoic discipline, masculine discipline, is that you don't need to engage in physical combat to resolve differences because you have enough mental fortitude to withstand conversations. Usually someone that cannot handle a conversation without wanting to get violent is not a very strong person. Let's see.
Call from
Austin.
To accept, press 1.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
I was just calling to see what's your position on abortions?
Abortions, elective abortions should be allowed up until 20 weeks, and there should be no limit on medical abortions.
You said up to 20 weeks?
Yeah, for elective abortions, but for medical reasons, I don't think there should be any laws about it. I think it should be with a doctor with a medical license making the decision.
Okay, no, I was just wondering because, because I mean, a lot of these Democrats want to do some late-term abortions without needing medical reasons or anything like that. Do you agree with that?
If you could find me someone that agrees with that, then I'll look at it. But I mean, I don't know anyone that's in favor of that who's a politician or anyone that I know.
What's it called? Basically, what I was gonna basically tell you is that fetuses start moving like around like 16 weeks, and people say they don't have any personalities or anything like that. But you can't, if you ask doctors and stuff like that, they tell you they do give movement rhythms of their own.
Yeah, but with doctors too, legally it's considered a fetus till it comes out too. But also, when it comes to the brain developing, the necessary components for feeling things at all, any sensory input being felt by the brain and developing experiences, that doesn't come until after 20, 21, 24 weeks. So that's what people usually talk about when it comes to being humane or not with elective abortions, is the ability for something to, one, you could use bodily autonomy where the fetus can survive on its own outside the womb. And another one is another humanitarian reason or ethical reason, if there's an ability for a consciousness to form, hypothetically, or just in general, the right stuff developed for that person to, or for that fetus to have experiences or to feel pain or anything.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I don't really agree, but I mean, I feel like we've kind of come to understanding on some of these late-term abortions, even if you said you haven't seen anything or heard anything like that, because I mean, there are some out there, specifically California.
Elective abortions, I know like maybe 0.001% are done late term, and they're usually for medical reasons. I mean, if you could find an elective abortion and call back sometime, I'll definitely look at it. But like usually the laws say like if there's a medical abortion, or if someone is if a fetus is born and it cannot survive, the doctor does not need to keep it alive on a life support machine or whatever it might be. If it has no chance to survive, you don't need to force the child to suffer at that point. So the laws are complicated, and I would just like read the laws themselves and see actual like court rulings, because people in the media will twist it a lot of different ways. So definitely recommend looking at primary sources if you can.
All right, thank you.
All right, yeah, thank you for the call. Have a good one. Okay. Please drop a like and subscribe. Donate to Jolah Politics on PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. Really appreciate all the support. You don't need to donate, but if you want to donate, really appreciate it. Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App at Jolah Politics. Become a channel member for $3. Channel memberships are $3. Who's this guy with the check mark by his name? Who is this person? Are they a YouTuber? They're a big YouTuber. Wow. Or they were a big YouTuber back in the day. They make cartoons. Are they an animator? They do animations. Sonic! Man, I love Sonic, dude. Oh, yeah. There's some Sonic on here, brother. Hell yeah. There's gotta be Sonic on here. Good job having Sonic on there. I'm now a fan of you. Because you have Sonic on there. Sonic Heroes. Has anyone here ever played Sonic Heroes, by the way? Like the game Sonic Heroes. You ever hear about that? Sonic Heroes game? Great game from my childhood. Fantastic game. Yeah, I guess we're pretty much done for tonight, guys. So you can leave. Join the Discord in the description. Just gonna hang out, I guess. I don't have anything else to really go over. Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes. Run, coward. True. Hey, I have no... How long have I been on here? 2 hours? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been streaming for 2 hours. I have no obligation to stay on. I appreciate you guys for watching. Get some sleep tonight. Okay, thanks. Bye. LOL. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I don't, I usually only go like 4 hours if I'm getting like donations and stuff, but usually 2 or 3 hours is good. I appreciate all the support you guys watching. This is when like someone will buy my time, but I have to go to bed tonight. I need sleep, to be honest. I've been exhausted. I'm going through some health issues. I need to go get an ultrasound tomorrow. I might be pregnant, guys. But yeah, I gotta get an ultrasound because of a possible hernia. A possible hernia. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I gotta get some sleep. Some sleep, guys. Don't want to get pregnant, keep them legs closed? No, I'll get pregnant if I want to. Thank you. Here, join Discord. Discord is in the channel description, video descriptions, stream descriptions. Thank you for all the well wishes. Thank you. Crap. Hi.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I've been trying to ask you these questions for a minute and to see how you feel about it, on how you feel about Doge and if they actually are changing the system for the better, and if they actually found this money that has been wasted by politicians, and do you think that they're actually doing any good in this part?
No, so following any budgets or any evidence, nothing has been shown at all. There's zero reason to believe anything. They've actually lost money because they said they were going to cut $2 trillion. Now it's down to $150 billion. And now it's going to cost like $200 billion to rehire everyone, and we're losing money because our systems are being destroyed. Like, look at the air traffic controllers right now. That is because of Doge. That issue is because of Doge. And there is whistleblower evidence that they are stealing information to feed into AI programs to sell to other companies and countries with Russian and Chinese hackers. So Doge is a Trojan horse mini coup operation in the government. It has done nothing at all except hurt things.
And what do you say to these Trumpies that are trying to kick these immigrants out, but this country is built on immigrants? And isn't it just so ironic that this is happening to the people that built this country and they end up getting kicked out? I mean, just imagine being African American, being brought over here by someone else, and they're not even the same color as you, and then kicking you out after you built their whole palace. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just so insane how Americans can do this, and do this, and just fucking not care. At this point, I feel like they're destroying this country. What do you say to that?
If they want to fix immigration, come with actual facts and come with actual policies and laws to get passed, because Republicans do not want to fix the issue. They would fix the issue and pass bills to do that if they really cared about it. And also, Republicans think every single immigrant's illegal. They don't care if it's undocumented, documented, visa, student, green card. They say everyone's illegal if they're brown in America with an accent. So many of them have issues with that. So just yeah, come with actual facts where it matters. I'm sick of all the talking and no action and all the executive orders and virtue signals.
I mean, I've never felt so spied on. I feel like I'm in China at this point. Trump might as well be Chinese at this point, because that's what it feels like. They're watching over us. They have over the FBI going to these immigrants' houses, acting like they're criminals. Yeah, maybe some are criminals. I don't doubt it. You know, they're all over the world. But all these resources just for like one damn person, and then going after again and again and again. It just sounds like taxpayer money being wasted all over again, and it's never gonna stop, because all they want to do is just go make a point. They waste all the fucking money, and by the time we realize it, it's a fucking waste of money, and it came out of our pockets. And I feel like a lot of people don't have the voice because they feel they're just going to be preyed upon, just like China does. Prey upon people that speak up.
Yeah, I mean, Trump has said he loves dictatorships. He loves rolling people with an iron fist. He wants to be Kim Jong-un or Xi Jinping or Putin. He has said that multiple times. So it's not surprising that he wants an army of yes men. He'll do whatever he wants. And Americans, it's just, things are very good in America, and good times create weak people. And weak people right now are bringing us back to tough times. It's kind of how the cycle goes. Americans, we could be focusing on things that could build America, or bringing wealth back to the working class, or making sure that wealthy cannot take over the country and become an oligarchy or a kleptocracy or a mafia state. But we're going towards that direction, and they're ripping apart our country and selling it off to the highest bidder. And Americans might not respond until they feel the impacts directly, but at that point it'll be too late to really fix it.
It's just so crazy the things that are happening. And I feel by the time that we realize that Trump was the biggest mistake that we've ever, or the president, the biggest mistake was even electing him the first term, right? Even him in the question. And by the time we realize it, we're gonna be in an economic crisis, and we're not gonna be able to get out of that bubble. Do you think that's where we're headed? Because I feel like that's where we're headed, and I feel like that's where he's putting us in a worse situation. I feel like he's gonna fucking blame it on the immigrants, leave, and then here come in the Democrats trying to fix things, and it's the Democrats walking into the fucking door full of shit because of Trump's mistakes.
Yeah, and in general too, that's usually what happens. Republicans crash the economy, Democrats bring it back every single time. But Republicans are better at lying and manipulating people. And Republicans have abortion on their side, and abortion is the reason they are able to win. Is literally just abortion and pro-life politics and evangelicals. If you look at voting in America, being evangelical means you're going to vote for Trump like 80% or 90%. If you're not evangelical, it goes down to like 30% or 40%. So we have a divide in America based purely off religion. It's not even uneducated or educated that's part of it, but it's also just religion in general. So yeah, it's a big divide there.
I mean, people are so scared to go out. People can barely afford things now. It already feels like we're going down a hole. You can feel it, you can see it everywhere in California. I mean, for God's sake, for Mother's Day, I've never felt everywhere around me so empty, so lost of hope, so like people don't know what to do, people don't know where we're headed. People say we're the strongest country, but from my standpoint, I don't see that. I feel like we're controlled. We're turning into China. We're turning into communists. I swear. I feel like we are. At some point, we're just gonna have two choices: to eat eggs or beans.
Yeah, Trump is a communist, and like there's a reason the economy is not falling apart now. It's because it is strong, and people have too much money. It's unpopular to say, but we have access to debt. It's not too much money in a sense of we can't afford like housing and assets and healthcare, but we can't afford items, and we can't afford to live. We can't afford these like other things that are going to be more expensive. But Americans do have money because of the access to debt and credit cards and buy now, pay later. So Americans still have money to spend, and the economy is a lot better than Americans have thought. So the point we're at right now, where the economy has not collapsed this soon, it shows how strong the fundamentals were. But things are going to go bad in the next few years, and their goal, Republicans' goal, is for the system to collapse so they can maintain power forever, or they have no plan. It's somewhere in between there. It's kind of crazy. I appreciate the questions. It is a doom spiral. It is a lot of repetition. So I think a big focus for everyone is just to, talk to people and hopefully shift opinions over as much as possible. If thousands of us can do that, then we can definitely shift things a little by little.
And one more thing before we close it out. I get it, but I feel like Trump is making us into the cuck. That's what he's doing.
I mean, we are, yeah.
You know what I mean? Am I the only one that thinks that we're literally watching ourselves getting fucked in the ass? And
it's the Andrew Tate effect, right?
Oh, God.
Like the weakest man of all time.
And people don't realize it. If they don't speak up sooner or later, it's going to be too late. And by that time, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I mean, we're being sold out to the highest bidder over and over again. And we really are. Like, America, when we talk about America now, it's like, oh, what can America do? Like, it's not what can't America do. It's what can America do. Like, it's just like, we're just America. We can't push Russia or El Salvador, the super giant countries. Like, what are we going to do? And we're like, oh, we got to negotiate by using tariffs. Like, we're not America. We can't just do it. It's just... it's so painful. We're acting like we're just like a developing country that has no resources to do things in a better way. It really is. It really is freaking painful, and it does sound like a cuck position. It really does.
Like, open your eyes, people. How do you impose tariffs on China and go like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna take it back. Come on, Trumpies. It's in your own eyes,
Art
guys.
of the deal. Art of the deal.
Like, come on. You can't just impose tariffs and go like, you know what? I'm gonna take it all back, and hopefully this works. Like,
art of the deal. Art of the deal.
Like, come on, like, bro, like, Jesus, like, I haven't felt like so violated ever, bro. Like, it's so crazy. I've never felt like less of an American ever, or I don't even want to be an American anymore because I just feel like I'm getting fucked in the ass because of this guy, and these people will have to pay at some point. But if people don't speak up, we're going to go in an economic crisis, and America isn't going to be so America anymore.
It already is not. Trump wants to suspend habeas corpus and other constitutional rights. Trump tried suspending the Constitution in 2020. He tried stealing the election. So it's whatever. People need to learn by experience. There's that one quote: "Things you do not experience, you must, or things you cannot learn, you must experience to learn them." So I appreciate it. I'm sorry for missing your chats. I do see them every now and then. It's just hard to get in there sometimes. When stuff's going on,
good.
Yeah, I appreciate the questions.
It's always awesome to tune in and see these Trumpies and just talk all their shit, because all they do is just be repetitive. All they like to do is just talk about facts that they seen on Facebook that actually aren't even facts, that you just like to see on Facebook or Instagram. So yeah, good luck, guys.
Love it. All right, anyone that's watching, by the way, join us in Discord. All right, I'm putting the Discord link in chat. It's also in my descriptions of my stream and also on my videos on my channel. Go in the description of my videos, you'll find the Discord. Please join Discord. We need more friends in Discord. All right, if you're watching and you're in Discord, we're gonna go in Discord and hang out. Go in Discord, meet us there. What are y'all talking about? The tariffs were meant to get them to the table. They got to the table. Y'all are mad. You're so twisted. Christopher Lowe. All right. They've been at the freaking table. We are America. They are at the table. Trump did trade deals his first term without crashing the global economy or without being adversarial and having conflicts and trade wars with our allies. We can just talk to them and ask for different deals. Trump has deals with Australia and Mexico and Canada that he made. He could literally just talk to them and ask for different provisions in those trade deals. you're just showing how brain dead you are. The fact you think, oh, the tariffs bring them to the table. Tariffs are a tax on America. All right, there's a reason countries are moving towards China. It's because America is too brain dead to have a proper system in place. So now countries are trusting China more than America somehow. But thanks for killing America, guys. Okay, join Discord, guys, if you want to talk more. Thank you so much for asking these questions.
Again, you cannot put these tariffs on the table if there's no table. If you know what I mean.
Super good.
Like, God. China has been in this economic growth since the longest because they knew what to do right. How come America can't do it right? Because we have these Trumpies fucking everything up.
Someone said retreating to Discord. No, I'm not retreating to Discord. I've been streaming for 3 hours. I want to go to bed. I hang out in Discord with my community to hang out and have a good time. All right. So, everyone, thank you for watching tonight. Thank you for dropping likes and subscribing. Thank you for the donations. Thank you to Rita. Thank you so much, Rita. Rita has been killing it with the donation game. But yeah, thank you so much, Rita, for $10 on Cash App. Really appreciate you. I sent you a heart emoji on there. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the support. Again, another good night of streaming, and yeah, hope you all have a great night. I'm ending the stream. See you guys to what is tomorrow? Wednesday. Yeah, I'll definitely see you tomorrow at probably 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m. So yeah, thank you guys. Have a great night. See you in Discord.